Okay, before we proceed to our second example, allow me to introduce to you the importance or the conditions and requirements for your AASHTO system. Simply because this example number 2 will going to use or to classify the soil using the AASHTO or your American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. So, let's begin. So, AASHTO, now sabi niya dito, AASHTO is classified or soil is classified into 7 groups, major groups, 7 major groups from A-1 to A-7. And then your A-1, A-2, and A-3, these are the granular materials. Your A-1, A-2, and A-3, these are the granular materials of which 35% or less particles pass through sieve number 200. And then your A-4 to A-5, A-6, and A-7, these are the silt clay materials of which more than 35% pass through sieve number 200. So ngayon, sir, paano ko malalaman whether my material is A-1 or A-7? So through this chart, we can identify that whether it is a granular or silt material. Sabi ko nga, from A-1 to A-3, A-1, A-2, A-3, masasabi natin ngayon siyang granular materials. Or A-4 to A-7, masasabi mo ngayon siyang silt clay materials. Again, this is your AASHTO chart or your American Association of State Highway and Transportation Official System chart. So, okay? So, sabi niya rin dito, there is a formula for your AASHTO kasi hindi natin itong masasabing na-classify na natin itong soil na ito unless ma-compute natin itong group index muna. And again, your formula for your group index is equal to F sub 200 minus 35 times 0.2 plus 0.005 times your liquid limit minus 40 plus 0.01 F 200 minus 15 times your PI minus 10. So, yan ang magiging group index natin. And for your advanced learning also, for the qualitative evaluation of the desirability of a soil as a highway subgrade material, the group index has been developed. So sabi niya dito, ang importance kasi ng group index natin, the higher the value of the group index for a given soil, the weaker will be the soil's performance as a subgrade. Inuulit ko, the higher the value of group index, your GI, the weaker will be the soil performance as a subgrade material. So now, a group index of 20 or more indicates very poor subgrade material. So kapag greater than, example lang, kapag ang GI mo is greater than 20, very poor subgrade to. Very poor subgrade siya. So again, this AASHTO classification system commonly used in your road construction. So, malalaman mo kung very poor yung material na ilalagay dun mismo sa construction site, most especially kapag ang project mo is road. So, now, there's a condition for your GI. Meron tayong condition sa GI natin. If your GI value, kapag ang GI value mo is negative, this is taken as GI is equal to 0. Like for example, kapag ang GI mo is negative 2.47, your GI is now equal to 0 simply because of this negative value. How about if my GI is equal to 2.8? Let's say 2.8. Your GI must be taken in a whole or nearest whole number. And now, therefore, it is written or taken as GI is equal to, hindi na 2.8, rather this now equal to 3.0 or this one is 3. So, sir, what if my GI value is equal to 0? Okay? Or meaning to say, ang ang classification ng soil ko is A-1, A, A-1, B, A-2, 4, A-2-5, and then A-3. Take note, kapag dito, na-classify mo yung soil mo as A-1, A, A-1, B, A-1, A-2, A-2, 5, and then A-3, ang group index nito is not a whole number. Rather, your GI here is always equal to 0. Take note of that. Example lang. Sabi niya dito, kapag nag-lie daw, nag-lie mismo yung material mo sa A-1-A or A-1-B, there is no need to calculate for your group index. Rather, automatic, your GI is always equal to 0. So, sir, how about if my soil classification lies at A-2-6 or A-2-7? Take note, kapag ang soil mo, na-classify niya ito sa A-2-6 and A-2-7, ang gagamitin mong GI formula ay hindi na itong mahahaba. Not this one. Rather, your GI is equal to 0.01 times F sub 200 minus 15 times PI minus 10. Again, kapag na-classify mo ang soil mo from A-2-6 and A-2-7, your GI formula is not anymore this very long formula. Rather, ang GI mo na ma-minimize siya dito. That your GI is equal to 0.01 times F sub 200 minus 15 times PI minus 10. So, that would be the condition for your AASHTO. Okay? So, sort of review. When your GI is equal to negative 2.47, this is now taken as 0 because of this negative value. When your GI is equal to 2.8, 3.5, always rounded it to the nearest whole number. For example, ito, 2.8. This one must be taken equal to 3. So, what if my soil classification system lies at A-1-A, A-1-B, A-2-4, A-2-5, A-3? Again, there is no need to calculate for your GI or your group index. Simply because your GI from here now is always equal to 0 kapag nag-lie sa classification na to. But when your soil classification system nag-lie sa A-2-6, A-2-7, the formula here is no longer anymore used. Hindi na natin ito magagamit. Rather, ang gagamitin natin formula, your GI is equal to 0.01 times F times sub 200 minus 15 times PI minus 10. So, that is our condition and requirement for your AASHTO. Again, to classify the soil classification, the soil, using AASHTO, again, sa every column, dapat masatisfy niya lahat yung condition. So, once na nasatisfy niya lahat yung condition dito, yan ang magiging correct classification. Yan na yung magiging soil classification ng sample natin. Okay? And then, from left to right yung pagdedetermine. So, if one of the following doesn't meet the requirement, you need, or one of the following will not satisfy the requirement, you need to proceed to next column. Pero kapag nasatisfy niya lahat ng condition na ito, that is now the correct classification. Okay? So now, let's proceed. Let's try to solve this example problem. Actually, this is familiar to the CE board exam problems. But from here, let's try to solve this problem. Okay, sabi niya, the result of sieve analysis of 3 soils is given next. It is required to classify the soils according to the AASHTO classification system. Use the AASHTO figure. So, ito yung AASHTO figure natin. Okay? So, sabi niya, what is the classification of soil A? What is the classification of soil B? What is the classification of soil C? Again, guys, Based from this table, ang column natin is only sieve number, diameter opening diameter, and then percent passing of soil A, soil B, soil C. Compare to our last example. Ang last example kasi natin kanina, ang given lang is sieve number, opening diameter, and then mass retained. Kasi kailangan na mag-compute ng percent passing dito. Compare to this example, number 2, there is no need to calculate the percent passing simply because na-calculate na dati. Okay? Binigay niya na dati yung percent passing natin. Ito na yung percent passing natin sa soil A, soil B, soil C. That's why there is no need to determine the mass retained, the cumulative mass retained, because it is already given. The percent passing is already given. Soil A, soil B, soil C. So, meron akong soil sample A dito, soil sample B, and another soil sample C. So, dyan, madidetermine natin, maka-classify natin kung saan, kung ano yung classification ng soil natin. Example, itong soil A, baka dun sa project A ito. Soil B, na itinest niya dun sa project site B niya. Soil C, project site C. Parang ganun na. Pero, nasolve niya na dati kung ano yung percent passing ito na mismo. Okay? So, let's start to solve the problem number 1. What is the classification of soil A? Letter A, A-2, A-4, with a group index of 0. Or B, A-2, A-6, let's be group index 0. A-2, A-7, group index 0. A-2, A-5, with a group index of 0. So, let's try to solve this problem. Sabi niya, using table, your ASTO chart or ASTO classification system, masasolve natin tong problem na to. Pero kung wala itong ASTO classification system mo, even you have this table, you cannot determine the classification of soil. Okay? So, let's try to solve soil A. Ang focus lang natin, soil A. Soil A. Given na yung percent passing yan. Kasi yung mga nandito, nakasulat lahat dyan, yan yung mga percent passing natin. Okay? So, let's start. From left to right. So, bago tayo mag-start from left to right, alamin muna natin kung granular materials ba siya or silt clay materials. Okay? So, sabi niya, granular materials siya, silt clay materials. Ang always basis natin is sieve number 200. Sieve number 200 tayo. And based from this soil A, ang sieve number 200 ng soil A is 25. So, which of this material will satisfy the percent passing of your soil A in sieve number 200? So, makikita natin, it is your granular materials. Kasi 35% or less siya eh. So, 35% below. So, 35% or less, passing number 200, yung soil A natin. So, it is a granular material. So, meaning to say, kapag granular materials na to, huwag mo na itong papakialaman. Yung silt clay materials. So, ang pag-determine lang o pag-classify na ng soil, mag-start ka from left to right. So, kung nasatisfy nila itong condition na to, dito na yung sagot. Pero kung isa sa kanya, ang hindi na-satisfy yung condition, you need to proceed to the next column. Okay? So, let's try. So, since granular materials na siya, mag-start na tayo sa A-1 muna. Sa A-1 natin, meron siyang dalawang classification. A-1-A and A-1-B. And then, pababa tayo, sieve analysis percent passing. First column, ito yung unang i-determine natin. This one. Sieve analysis percent passing. Number 10, 50 maximum. Okay? Ang sieve number 10 ng soil A, ito. Sieve number 10 ng soil A is this one, 68%. Pero, ang sabi niya dito is 50 maximum. Ang pinaka-maximum lang daw is 50%. So, meaning to say, since 68 to, hindi na pwede to. Bakit? Kasi ang soil A natin is 60%. Ang maximum lang na condition ng A-1-A is 50 maximum, 50% maximum. So, dito pa lang, wala na. So, kung mali na dyan, di na niya na-satisfy yung condition, you need to proceed to next column. Okay? So, proceed tayo sa next column, A-1 B. So, pababa tayo, wala namang condition sa sieve number 10, pero may condition sa sieve number 40. And ang condition niya sa sieve number 40, 50 maximum. So, kung 50 maximum ang consideration or condition sa sieve number 40, tignan mo ngayon kung ano yung sieve number 40 ng soil A. Ito yung sieve number 40 ng soil A. This one is 52. My question is, ang requirement niya is 50 maximum. So, kung kayo may i-evaluate, nasatisfy niya ba yung condition ng A-1 B? No. Kasi ang pinaka-maximum lang dapat is 50 maximum. And this one, your soil A is 52. Therefore, mali na to. You need to proceed to what? Next column. So, A-1, wala na to. Cross na yan. Hindi ka na pwede. Mag-proceed na ako sa next column. A-3. Ang focus mo lang sa A-3, yung condition. Dito sa column na to. So, ang requirement lang dito is sieve number 40 and then sieve number 200. Wala nang sieve number 10 kasi blanco naman. So, sieve number 40 mo. Again, ang soil A mo, ang sieve number 40 mo, percent passing mo dyan is 52. This one is 51. Nasatisfy niya ba? Yes. Since 51 ang minimum, 52 ito eh. So, okay siya. So, check mo muna. And then, after masatisfy niya to, baba ka. Malay mo, this sieve number 200, masatisfy niya rin tong 10 maximum. Okay? So, next, let's proceed. Since okay niya siya dito, bumaba ako. Sieve number 200 naman, tignan ko kung okay. Or pumasa. Sieve number 200, 10 ang maximum. Sieve number 200 mo, 200 sa soil A, 25 ito. 10 ang maximum, 25 ito. So, mali na. Hindi niya na nasatisfy yung requirement ng A-3. So, mali. Therefore, A-3, goodbye na rin to. Okay? So, A-1, das A, A-1, das B, A-3. Wala na tong tatlong to. Okay, next. For your A-2, das 4 naman. Walang requirement sa sieve number 10. Walang requirement sa sieve number 40 ang A-2, das 4. Rather, ang may requirement lang is sieve number 200. Ang sieve number 200 natin is what? 35 maximum ang condition o ang requirement ng A-2, das 4. So, sieve number 200 natin sa soil is 25. Pumasa ba siya? Yes. Kasi 35 ang maximum. So, okay. And then after that, baba ka ulit. May liquid limit tayo, 40 ang maximum. Kaya pansin nyo dito sa table natin, meron tayong LL. Ang LL na yan, ito yung liquid limit. Sa consistency yan, sa Atterbird's limit later on. Yan yung gamit tayo ng Casagrande cut device para ma-determine natin yung liquid limit. So, through this soil A, going back to this condition A-2-4, ang liquid limit requirement ng A-2-4 is 40 maximum. Kaso, ang liquid limit ng soil A is what? 42. Therefore, hindi niya na-satisfy itong requirement ni A-2-4. So, mali na ito. Again, si A-2-4, hindi na siya pwede ulit. Goodbye na naman siya. Okay? So, next. Let's proceed to A-2-5. So, your A-2-5 naman, wala na siyang requirement sa sieve number 10, sieve number 40. Ang meron siyang requirement lang is sieve number 200. So, this one is 35 maximum. So, again, your soil A, 25 siya sa pasado. 25% passing ang soil A mo. Ang requirement number 200, 35 ang maximum. Okay? The next, liquid limit, proceed. 41 minimum. Ang soil A mo, liquid limit mo is 42. Ang soil A mo, ang liquid limit niya is 42. Ang requirement ni A-2-5, ang liquid limit mo dapat is 41 minimum. Pasado ba siya? Yes. So, okay to. And then next, baba ka ulit kasi nasatisfy niya si liquid limit. Punta ka naman sa plasticity index. But the problem here is, guys, PL yung given. Ang condition niya is PI. Malayo. So, ngayon, we need to solve the formula or solve the value for your plasticity index. Again, sa Atterbird's limit nyo later on, ang plasticity index kasi, formula natin, is simply equal to LL minus PL. So, the mnemonics of this one, PI, Lolo ni Polo. Okay, liquid limit minus PL. So, ang liquid limit natin is 42. Minus, sa soil A tayo, minus ang PL mo is 33. So, 42 minus 33. Ano yung sagot natin dito? This is 9. So, 9%. So, ang requirement ni A-2-5, 10 ang maximum. So, sa tingin nyo, nasatisfy niya ba to? Yes. So, since lahat ng requirement ni A-2-5, nasatisfy niya lahat yung condition ni A-2-5, even your liquid limit and plasticity index, ang sagot na dito is A-2-5. Okay? So, ito na yung sagot. Satisfy niya kasi lahat. So, wala ka na mag-proceed. So, from here, ma-identify natin kung anong klaseng lupa yung soil A. So, pagbaba mo, silty or clay, gravel, sand siya. And then, general rating as subgrade, excellent to good. So, ang soil A mo is silty or clay, gravel, and sand. Excellent to good to. Okay? So, sa sagot, what is the classification? What is the classification of soil A based from these choices? It is letter D. So, letter D. Bakit di na ako nag-compute ng GI ko? Sabi ko kanina, ang GI mo, kapag ang GI mo is from A-1-A hanggang A-3, tapos pansinin mo yung soil classification mo is A-2-5, ang GI ko na dito is always equal to 0. So, that's why sa problem number 1, ang sagot is A-2-5 with a group index of 0. Okay. Now, next, let's proceed to number 2. What is the classification of soil B? Soil B naman tayo. Kaklasify natin ngayon yung soil B natin. So soil B, again, using this chart, burahin ko lang. At least, medyo malinis. Ayan, soil B natin. Soil B natin, again, ano yung una nating gagawin? We need to identify whether it is granular or silty clay materials using what? Sieve. Sieve number 200. So, since soil B na tayo, soil B na kasi tayo, ano yung sieve number 200 natin sa soil B? It is 45. So, if you're going to evaluate the material, which of these two materials satisfies the condition for your sieve number 200? So, it is what? More than 35% silty clay material. So, meaning to say, itong portion ni granular materials, wala nang pakialam to. Okay? So, ang gagawin mo na lang, mag-i-start ka ngayon kay A-4. A-4 ka na lang hanggang A-7. Ako ka? Kasi silty clay material siya eh. So, ito lang yung condition ni silty clay materials. Hanggang dyan lang siya. Okay? So, mag-start tayo sa A-4. Wala na to kasi hindi niya na-satisfy yan. A-4. Walang requirement sa sieve number 10 and sieve number 40 ang A-4. Ang meron lang is sieve number 200. Let's start with sieve number 200. The requirement ni A-4 is 36 minimum. Sieve number 200, 36 minimum, 45 ito. Pasado. So, okay. So, liquid limit natin is 40 maximum. Paso, ang liquid limit mo sa soil B is what? 45. Yan ang liquid limit ni soil B. So, ngayon, ang requirement is ni A-4, 40 ang maximum. So, dito pa lang wala na. So, goodbye. Goodbye ulit to. Okay? Next, proceed to the next column. A-5. 36 minimum, parehas lang dyan. Na-satisfy niya yung sieve number 200 kasi 45 ito. Next, 41 minimum. Na-satisfy niya ba? Yes. Na-satisfy niya to. 41 minimum. Ayan. So, how about your plasticity index? 10 ang maximum. Again, you need to solve your plasticity index for your soil B. So, sa soil B natin, ang plasticity index natin, PI is simply equal to, again, LL minus PL. So, your liquid limit sa soil B is 45, hindi 42. Baka kung minsan magkakamali kayo sa pag-solve, sa kakaapura nyo, pwede kayo magkamali. That's why, alamin nyo kung saan kalam yung liquid limit ng soil B. So, dito, it is 45 minus your PL is 37. This is what? 8%. Your plasticity index is 8. So, ngayon, nasatisfy niya ba si A-5? Nasatisfy niya ba ang requirement ni A-5 sa plasticity index na 10 maximum? Ang sagot niya is 8. Yes, kasi 10 maximum. So, ngayon, since nasatisfy lahat na ng condition, nasatisfy na ni soil B lahat yung condition ni A-5, therefore, ito na yung sagot. Okay, napansin nyo? Sa A, B, C, D, A-5, okay na. So, ngayon, there is no need to calculate. Hit ko lang kapag darating yung time na mag-board exam kayo or kahit anong exam. Kung pansinin nyo, pare-parehas naman yung group index ito. Huwag nyo lang i-compute yung group index. Okay? Unless, A-5 lahat naman yung choices, tapos may group index siya na magkakaibang whole number. Example, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doon lang kayo magkakalculate ng group index nyo. Okay. Now, based from this example, the classification of your soil B is what? A-5 with a group index of 2. Pero kung gusto mong isolve yung ganyan, yung group index nito, okay lang. Walang problema. Pero ang lalabas po rin dyan is 2. Okay? For yours, number 3 naman tayo. Number 3, what is the classification of your soil C? Let's proceed. Sa soil C, again, erase ko muna to. Yan. That's for soil C. Okay, soil C tayo. Sa soil C, first, inuulit ko, paulit-ulit, una nyong alamin, granular ba siya or silty. Okay? Take a look for your sieve number 200. Number 200 kasi requirement dito, 200 ng soil C is 34. More than 35% ba siya o 35% or less passing number? So, it is a granular. So, kung granular siya, balik ka na naman dito. So, si silty clay materials, wala na yan. Okay? So, before we proceed pala, dun sa number 2 natin, A-5 siya, silty soils siya, ang general rating niya is 34. Okay? So, proceed sa number 3. Since granular material siya, 34 yung sieve number. 200, 34%. Okay, mag-start tayo sa first column. Ito, wala na ulit to. A-1. Sieve number 10, 50 maximum. 80 ito. So, wala na. 50 lang maximum niya eh. Yes. Next, A-1-B. Ang requirement ni sieve number 40 is 50 maximum. Ang sieve number 40 ni soil C is 60. 50 ang maximum nito. Wala na rin. Yes, kasi ang 50 maximum lang requirement ni A-1-B. Next, wala na to. Proceed tayo kay A-3. Walang requirement si sieve number 10. Pero may requirement si 40 and 200. Sieve number 40, 51 minimum. Your 51 minimum. Sieve number 40, 60 ito. Okay, pasado. Sieve number 200. 10 maximum. 34 ito. Wala na. Right? So, wala na rin to. A-2-4. Ang requirement niya lang is 35 maximum. So, 200. 34 sa pasado. Let's proceed to your liquid limit. 40 ang maximum niya. Ang liquid limit niya is 38. 40 sa pasado. What is your PI, plasticity index requirement for A-2-4? It is 10 maximum. So, i-solve muna natin kung ano yung magiging PI ni soil C. Soil C, PI is equal to LL minus PL. PI, what's your LL here? 38 minus 18. So, PI is equal to 20. So, ngayon, ang requirement ni A-2-4, 10 ang maximum. Yes? Pero ang computed na PI kasi natin is 20. So, dito pa lang, hindi niya na nasatisfy yung requirement ni A-2-4. Therefore, si A-2-4, wala na rin yan. Proceed din ulit tayo sa A-2-5. 35 maximum, halos parehas lang sa A-2-4. Okay na yan. 41 minimum. Ang liquid limit natin sa soil C is 38. So, okay na rin to. Ito naman is, yes, 41 minimum. 41 minimum. 38 ito, wala pala. Hindi nyo na-satisfy ito. Mali na to. So, this one is also goodbye. Next, proceed to the next column. A-2-6, walang requirement sa sieve number 10. Walang requirement sa sieve number 40. Ang may requirement lang is sieve number 200. So, A-2-6, 35 maximum. Okay siya. Kasi 34 lang yung sieve number 200 natin. And the next, liquid limit mo is 40 maximum. Okay, 38 yung liquid limit mo. And 11 ang minimum naman sa plasticity index. And then, ang na-compute natin sa plasticity index kasi natin dito, sa soil C is 20. Ang requirement ni A-2-6 is 11 minimum. 20 ang nasolve. So, okay ba siya? Yes. So, nasatisfy niya. So, ang sagot is A-2-6. So, since, again, pare-parehas na naman yung group index niya, there's no need to compute the group index. Unless, parehas yung classification niya, A-2-6 lahat yan, magkakaiba ng group index, dun ka lang magkakalculate ng group index. Okay? So, our answer for letter C is, and number 3 is letter C. For number 2, our answer is letter B. Okay? So, that's all for our AASHTO classification system. I hope everybody naka-follow, and I hope you learned something for this example. Again, guys, this is a past CE board exam. So, at least may idea na kayo. So, actually, sa soil mechanics din na-discuss ito. Stay safe, and God bless everyone. Thank you.